And I was gonna bring up. I don't know if you saw the news. Tyson Fury did set a 7-day deadline if they wanted him to come out of retirement to face Alexander Usyk. And
taking a page out of Jake Paul's book, huh?
He posted on social media, for all these suitors out there that want to make the fight, I'm going to give you all 7 days until September 1st to come up with the money. If not, thank you very much. It's been a blast. I'm retired. And he continues, all offers submitted must be to my lawyer in writing with proof of funds. So let the games begin. And in classic Tyson Fury gypsy style, he's making it known that he wants this fight. Gonna let the powers that be start getting the ball rolling. But he seems comfortable in retirement. But I did say this fight is gonna make Tyson want to come out of retirement. I did predict the knockout. I fell short on that, but
way short. You were not even close. Not even close.
It was enough. It was enough of a win to entice the Gypsy King to want to come out of retirement. And if that fight does happen, I'm not saying it's going to be easy for Usyk. It's going to be the hardest fight of his life.
Another hot take by Chris. Wow.
Based on just skill
what a hot take.
Based on just skill alone. just on skill alone. It might be one of those pure boxing fights that not too many people will enjoy, but it's going to pin the two best boxers of the heavyweight division probably ever outside of Ali with skills. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully they give this man his money and we get this.
All right, Chris.
This fight.
Chris. In under 10 seconds, please. In under 10 seconds, please. Does Tyson Fury come back and why?
He does because he wants to be remembered as the best heavyweight of this era. Oh.
Well, he's already that. I mean,
no, he's not. Not until he beats Usyk, the man that beat his stablemate.
What has Usyk done that Tyson Fury hasn't?
Unified a division, undisputed.
Well, obviously, you're talking about cruiserweight.
Hey, he might do it with the heavyweight division. We don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. Okay, Gio, I gotta ask you, after this performance, I know a lot of people, after Canelo losing, anointed Usyk as the number one per pound. Do you anoint him number one pound for pound now, or do you think Canelo still has the case?
No, I think in my eyes, Usyk's stock went down a little bit. I don't know, but I think that's kind of unfair because he had a lot going on. Going into this fight, obviously my prediction was that he was going to win, but I was kind of hoping that AJ would take advantage of the distractions and all the stuff going outside in the ring for Usyk. Obviously, he's seen his people suffer, and when people say, "Oh, this guy's defending his country," and like we say, he's not on the front lines, but I think it's more of an emotional thing, an emotional state where he's thinking about his people going through what they're going through with the war against Russia and trying to defend their land. But I think under all these circumstances, the fight being in Saudi Arabia and foreign soil, obviously Usyk is used to that, but like I stated before, I don't know how his training camp went. Obviously, there's still that war going on. Lomachenko didn't accept the fight with Kambosos. Usyk took the fight with Joshua. Under all the circumstances, great win for Usyk. I just wasn't impressed in the ring. So I think he stays where he was already as number 2. But does this... Obviously, I already know the answer, but does this kind of bump him up in your eyes?
To me, yes, it does. Because he's the one guy that hasn't lost, and I don't see anybody outside of Tyson Fury beating him.
I think the big difference is Usyk hasn't beat anyone in his weight class who's number 1 or even probably number 2. So...
Have you not followed his cruise? Are you talking about heavyweight or cruiserweight?
Heavyweight and cruiserweight. Let's be honest, that wasn't very impressive. Cruiserweight.
Bro, he retired Gosdick.
He what?
How is that not impressive?
Usyk retired Gosdick. You got the wrong guy, dude. You got the wrong guy.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I'm thinking of the wrong guy. No, look, unifying, being undisputed, sure, it was a weaker division, but it's still hard. It's still difficult to do.
No wonder you got freaking Terrence Crawford as your number 2 or number 3 or whatever. Oh, Chris watches too much ESPN, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, question: If Tyson Fury and then Usyk, if the powers that be were to put this money together and they get the fight going, where do you put this fight? Where does this fight take place? In England, in Las Vegas, or in Saudi Arabia?
I don't think that even matters nowadays because, like, post-pandemic, I think these fighters have just been getting the bag. So I don't even think that matters anymore where it is. I think these 2 fights prove that these guys fight in Saudi Arabia, man. And those guys are throwing a lot of money over there in the Middle East. Obviously, they're hosting the World Cup in Qatar. That whole area, they're trying to become more relevant sports-wise. So I don't think that matters. But the next question would obviously be, who will be the favorite and who do you think will win? If you can answer that in under 30 seconds, please, Chris.
The favorite is Tyson Fury, but I'm gonna go with Alexander Skill's.
Okay, how does he beat Tyson Fury?
By decision, by appointing him, by being busier in the inside the way he was with Joshua.
Well, let me ask you this. I think Tyson Fury probably stops Usyk. I mean, just imagine the punches that Joshua landed, except more accurate and coming from a better fighter. But let me ask you this, though. Deontay Wilder, of course, couldn't stay retired, right? He took a beating last time out. I don't think that's the way he wanted to go out. Fantasy matchup, because I don't think this happens, but if Usyk fights Wilder, do you think Usyk beats Wilder?
I think so. I think he stops him. I think there's a big disparity in skills.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
Do you really think Wilder only has one trick?
Hey.
He's not going to land that on Usyk.
You got to avoid that for 12 rounds, especially Usyk not being a power puncher. When I was watching this fight against Joshua, I was telling myself Usyk will struggle against these big heavyweights because he couldn't even keep Joshua off of him, right? Obviously, the jab was effective, but you're fighting against a guy who's been stopped before, who doesn't have the greatest chin, and I don't think that will work against a guy like Wilder. Obviously, one-trick pony. Doesn't have much boxing skills, but
yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't think Usyk has the power of King Kong Ortiz. Obviously, he's more skillful, but Ortiz tried almost knock Wilder out, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah. So Wilder actually tried to put his name, in the Usyk sweepstakes, if you want to call it. Tyson Fury hit back and told him pretty much what he said about, Joshua and Fury. So do I give Wilder a chance? He's got a chance with that right hand, any day. But 3 fights with Fury, I think people kind of figured him out. I think.
Come on, man. Don't compare all these other heavyweights to Tyson Fury. What are you talking about? People figured him out.
Usyk doesn't have the size, and maybe not as fast as Fury, but
he can't come back from the dead like Tyson Fury. That dude woke up like the Undertaker.
Like you said, Deontay Wilder has very limited skills. Alexander Usyk is one of the most accomplished amateurs, and look what he did to Anthony Joshua, a bigger man. You don't have to knock the guy out. You just have to appoint him.
Well, you just said Usyk would knock Wilder out, so I don't know.
He's got sheet defense. Wilder has one of the worst defenses that,
Yeah, we know he blocks punches with his face, but he has a very strong face, Chris.
Very strong face. We'll see what happens, man. I mean, Wilder to me he's still a guy that can mix it in with all those guys. I was actually, as much as we criticize him for getting beat so soundly by Fury, he's still an interesting character to the division, and I don't want to see him go away without getting in there with the Joshuas, getting in there with maybe an Usyk. He's still an interesting character in the heavyweight division.
Big Bro says Fury beating an old Klitschko and Wilder is not enough to be an all-time top 10 heavyweight. He has to beat Usyk to make that list.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So would you still say Usyk is the best fighter of this, the best heavyweight of this generation over Fury?
I think once he outpoints him.
Yes or no, Chris? Yes or no?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Interesting.
And like I said, it's not going to be an easy fight. He's got one of the most towering heavyweights to ever step in.
Hold on. I think last week we agree that Wilder was a better opponent than Joshua as far as wins and resumes go?
For Fury?
For anyone. What's better? What's better? Beating Wilder 3 times, knocking him out twice, or outpointing Joshua twice? What's better? And that probably answers my question, right? So Chris doesn't even believe his own statements.
No, to me, it's impressive.
And then if you want to throw in a quote unquote old Klitschko, that's still something.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, I would say beating AJ is more impressive because AJ came in, with the better mindset, the more realistic mindset. I think Wilder was just very delusional. First saying he didn't lose.
This guy's talking about mindsets. What is going on here? Oh my goodness.
At least AJ, took his loss like a man. He's like, I'm gonna come back stronger. I'm gonna come back better.
Big Bro's trying to help you out because you have no idea what you're saying. Big Bro's trying to help you out. Beating AJ's way better resume than Wilder. See, Chris, that's how you make sense there. And AJ's resume is impressive. It's impressive. B checking in, Chris fumbling his words. Yeah, see, Big Bro made a good point. AJ's has a much better resume, so come on, Chris. We should have like what was that one show where you can call people to help you? We should have that on here so Chris can get some help.
Hey, we're trying to get Big Bro on the podcast, but he likes to type.
He was on a few. He was on the Chocolatito Estrada podcast, and he had some hot takes. He's trying to lead by example, Chris. But anyway, anything else to add on this? I know you're very high on Usyk and still are, Chris. So any last words regarding Usyk's victory?
And still, that's all I gotta say. And still, and we gotta start, putting respect on his name. I know the casual doesn't appreciate him, but he's gonna go down as one of the very best.
Yeah, and the word you just used, the people who don't watch boxing, throughout the year, who watch 4 or 5 big fights. I heard a lot of comments of people saying it was boring and people didn't like it, which is not surprising, right? People want to see knockouts. People want to see a lot of action. And that's why I didn't mind the post-fight reaction by Anthony Joshua. At least it gives this event, something to talk about, some headlines, more eyes on boxing and all that. So, ultimately, I think a bit disappointing. Heavyweight action is always special. We've seen many historic nights, and I don't think this was one of them, unfortunately.